Hey, what's up, guys? And welcome to another spine-tingling and head-scratching episode of Insane Disappearances. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on, on the planet, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the world alone today, even in my backyard. Um, there are two incidences that I heard about on the news within the past couple of months. I think since August. I believe this happened probably I think in August, where a young 2-year-old, the key thing here, 2-year-old boy named Logan Klein, he went missing around 6:30 p.m. on a Friday. Apparently his parents, well, everybody in the house was asleep, and he somehow wandered off, or just disappeared from where he was last seen around that time, like 6:30 p.m. on a Friday. The Coweta County Sheriff's Office, this is in Georgia, where I live, and a bunch of volunteers put out a very huge search for him. I'd say for about 12 hours. And right after that, that's when they found him later around 9 a.m. in the morning. And it was about, I'd say, 1,400 feet away from where he was last seen. Now, once again, another key point in all of these disappearances. He was found half naked with hardly any shoes, with no shoes on. Another key point, like I said. And that's the weirdest thing. Now, the crazy part is he was found, but he was found without any, half naked with no shoes on. Okay. Now there was another story I saw on the news a couple of mornings ago when I was leaving work about another young boy. I forgot what part of Georgia, but he also was found in the woods a couple of hours after he went missing. And they said they couldn't figure out how is it that the cops couldn't figure out how is it that they ended up all scratched up and bruised from the branches and the bushes in the area where he was found, and he didn't have a scratch on him. They could not figure that part out. So I'm like, okay, weird. But at the same time, it's just like any of the other cases where these children are being found, okay, but still can't figure out how is it they survived all that time without being weathered from being out in the wilderness for so long. It's something that they couldn't figure out. Now, like I'm trying to see if I can get some more information on that, because I can't remember exactly what part of Georgia. I don't even remember the kid's name, because when I found it, I was in the middle of talking to somebody about these strange occurrences that happen in national parks. I should have been paying attention, but I wasn't, so I apologize for that. But that something like that did happen a couple of days ago. Now, also I wanted to talk about a woman that I found out about on Coast to Coast AM. I think that show aired on a Friday, and I actually missed it because we were so busy at work. Because I'm a Coastian, I listen to Coast to Coast AM every night, whenever I can, or whenever I can, that is. Now, this woman's name is Linda Godfrey. Okay, she is a researcher that investigates all kinds of, monsters that we all think are folklore, a myth, or fairy tale, or part of a fairy tale. And from what I have gathered, that these creatures that we think are part of, our worldly folklore, or part of a fairy tale, or some story that was created in the movies, a lot of these creatures or monsters, they're all real. They just exist on a different level or plane, or even from some sort of spirit world that we are not aware of, because they sometimes appear to us as like transparent, two-dimensional, but they also can be of flesh and blood here on this world. Okay, and I have reason to believe that a lot of these different dimensions and worlds actually cross over into our world, and there's like a doorway that we can walk into, but it just looks like regular scenery. Okay, it could be standing right, it could be right in front of us, like some kind of a valley or a field, and we just seem to walk through some sort of invisible portal or wall, and boom, we're right there. Because this woman has countless stories that she's gathered over the past 5 years of people seeing weird creatures and crossing. This one farmer, she mentioned on the show about he just saw this weird looking area and he walked right into it and he saw these weird creatures that were floating in midair. And that when they saw him, they started to float towards him, and he somehow got out of there. He was able to go back to where he came from, but it was the fact that he can walk right into this other world. So that's why I say that these worlds are merging with ours to where they open up these doorways to this world. Now she's talked about a lot of other creatures too, like werewolves, upright dogs that walk on their hind legs but have hooves for feet. And like I said, another thing like werewolves. And then there's a strange green mist that she also mentioned that takes on a life of its own, like it's some sort of like living energy, or like some sort of mist that has like some type of intelligence, or is controlled by some type of intelligence. Because there was a story about a cop who was in his patrol car and he saw this green mist coming towards him. I think she said he even saw it turn and went towards him. And what it did was it moved over his car and went off. And it went over the car, and then it kept going. But what happened was all the electrical components in his car just went dead, and it just died on him. So whatever this thing is, it can actually absorb energy or electrical energy. I'm guessing that's what it does. But from what she said, it also seems to take animals as well, because she said like she had this like one of those track cameras that they have in the woods that photograph wildlife, and it actually caught a picture of this mist that hovered around an animal, and in the next frame the animal was gone. Now, of course, by it being one of those track cameras that they find in the woods to take pictures of wildlife, the animal could have got away or walked off in the next, or by the time the next frame took a picture. That's obvious right there. But I don't know. But this mist also surprisingly is attracted to bodies of water, like lakes. Maybe this could have something to do with the stories that I talk about from David Paulides' book. Where these people seem to mysteriously vanish without a trace. It may have some type of I don't know. It may be something close to it. I'm not sure, but that's still up in the air. But also, there's talks about these upright dogs or werewolves that have been seen. There was this one farmer or a rancher. He actually was, I think she said he was fixing something in his shed or his barn, and he heard all this noise. It was sounding like a bunch of coyotes making all this loud noise, and he heard stomping like as if they were stampeding away from whatever it is they were trying to get away from. And he looked up and looked out the window of his shed or shack, and caught just in time a coyote, like just running. It was like running at full speed away from something that was actually trailing him or tailing him, and he saw this upright dog on its hind legs running after this animal, like as if it was, feeding time. Obviously, he was trying to catch it for dinner or something like that. Now, here's the part where I'm starting to think it may have something to do with these cases. The fact that these creatures are coming into this world, maybe they have eaten up all the creatures on their world, so they come here to feed. I'm guessing. That would be my only that would be my only guess is the reason why they're even here, because they probably ate up all the animals or people on their world, so they come here to feed. Like I said, excuse me. But anyway, I'm thinking that even though she talks about how these creatures feed on the animals of this world, obviously maybe they are somehow getting a hunger for humans as well. Because think about it, we're talking about humans who disappear in national parks, and they, when they are found, the only thing they find is the bones of these these people. The crazy part is they only find fragments of the bone, like a small, like they said. One time they said, like, I think I forgot the name of the guy that they found, but they said when they went into an area where they felt like he should have been in, they saw they found like tiny little fragments of bone, like as if it was shredded into a million pieces. And then there was another story about Jared Atadero. When they found his remains, the only thing they found was a tooth that was laying on top of a log and the top of his cranium, a small portion of it. Now, what creature on this planet do you know of that can devour a human like that and just leave nothing but tiny little chips of bone or just a small piece of bone? Okay, so I would think that creatures like that, like what she describes in her interview, these are the only kind of creatures I know of that could probably devour a human or any animal for that matter, or any uh, um, flesh and blood creature, and not leave anything behind. Um, then she said like people have seen scenes of animals being devoured or killed, where the creature twists the head to the point where it comes off like a top neatly, and it's, like they said, she even said like there was one, I think a raccoon that they found, and the way it was killed or eaten, it was like something took a laser of some sort and cut it from the chin down to the I guess to the area, the lower abdomen area of the animal, opened it up and scooped out the guts and whatever else it could get from the animal, and like an ice cream scooper, and ate what it ate. That's the crazy thing. It's like it ate the animal in such a weird way, that we know animals don't do. Animals just bite right into the animal. They don't scoop anything up. They don't cut it and scoop anything up. So whatever this thing is intelligent enough to do something like that. That is a very unorthodox way of killing an animal, where you literally cut it open and open it up to scoop out the meat and the guts. Disgusting, yes, but no animal we know does something like that. And you would think that the only creature that could do something like that at all would be an animal or a human, but no human that we know would do something like that. They would, gut it. They would remove all the hair or the fur, and then they would put it over a fire and cook it. If they lived out in the wilderness, like people who live off the grid, but nobody we know does something like that. There's never been any evidence to state that they do stuff like that. Okay, that's at least that's not how humans do. I know that. So, in light of that, there's just a lot of strange things going on. So I can tell you right now that the point of all this is that I think a lot of these creatures that she talked about has a lot to do with these mysterious disappearances, or creatures like that, because they disappeared in the same manner that the creature. Okay, like there's stories about people who see the creature's footprints that are walking in a certain area, and it just seems to just vanish. The footprints vanish without a trace. It's almost like they walked into oblivion, and then boom, that was it. So they move in and out of these different worlds that they come from, and they can get on into this world, but they're intelligent enough to know that they can come and go whenever they want. You know, um, Even this creature they call the chupacabra. I think they call it the Texas blue dog or something like that. Because they said it has like a blue tinge to its skin, so I don't know. I think they said they did an autopsy on one of the animals and it had like a combination of I think they said like a red wolf and a coyote or something. It was some type of breeded animal from another dimension or something like that, or another world. None that we know of that live here. So who knows? But that's the whole thing about these accounts. Like, yeah, I'm thinking they still have a lot to do with these mysterious disappearances. And like, okay, perfect example, the Henry McCabe case. Now, if you go back to what you heard in the recording from his voicemail, there was that sound of some type of creature growling, while he's moaning in pain. Now, I would think that whatever kind of creature that was, it was not of this world or not of this planet. It could have been some sort of dimensional creature. It could have been a creature from another Earth, or it could have been a creature from another planet. Who knows? Now, I'm thinking maybe it could have been a werewolf. The only problem was when he was found. They found him in his body. He was there. It wasn't like they found just his bones. Or maybe they did find his bones and they just said they found his body. Who knows? I don't know. But that's a creature of a type of creature they never even heard of. So, but yeah, that's all I got on that. Yeah, oh yeah. Well, yeah, I did talk about that earlier about the other little boy. I don't remember. I never did get his name, so I'm gonna try and keep looking to see if I can get that name and more information on that. But that's all I got on all of that information. Like I said, with what she's talked about on her interview, it may have some merit to all of these disappearances. With the creatures that they talk about. I think the creatures play a very big part in their disappearance. So I'll try to get more on that, and I will get back at you guys later. So, always imparting aloha, mahalo, and ahuio. Peace.